Hey guys, it's Cohen Buck. I'll be doing the I Teach Pilots lesson. Basically, I was chosen to go over flap over speed operations for the Stage 2 Private Pilot Learner level. I would go over the entire CFI overview, but I believe that's kind of what this entire lesson is for, so it's not super necessary. It'll kind of cover everything as we go. So first off, we got the purpose. Right. Now the purpose here, we're going to be teaching Stage 2 student pilots, basically almost private pilots, how to stay aware and the importance of staying aware of your airspeed when you're doing any operation, including flaps. This is basically just for safety for their future cross countries in later lessons, their check ride, and then even after their check ride. They should know this in order to provide a safe and stable atmosphere for their passengers whenever they're carrying them. All right. So, in general, it's basically just safety. Basically just safety. All right. Some objectives. So, objective number one. I'll be explaining sort of the causes and consequences of flap overspeed situations. And we'll get more into that as I get into the elements of the lesson. But we'll go over objectives here. Causes / consequences. All right. That's one. Two, we're going to be going over like describing flap overspeeding causes and prevention. So basically, describing / preventing. And I'm trying to like keep these small so that I can get this all done in 10 minutes, because if I wrote down everything that was in my notes and what's in my head, obviously I wouldn't be able to keep everything on the whiteboard. And then I actually have a third objective. It's not necessary, but identifying common student errors leading to overspeed situations. So identification. All right. Now for the completion standards, only have 2 of those for this one. The student pilot should be able to identify at least 2 specific circumstances where overspeeding flaps is a possibility. This is going to be done through just like relevant questions. I might just ask them, hey, like, what kind of situations do we have flaps in? And I'm sure most students will probably go for the approach first. And then it might be a little more niche if a student says maneuvers first, because I feel like students would be more aware of flaps used in pretty much any time they're landing. So, completion standards, I'm just going to CS, all right, and just 2 possibilities. All right, that's number 1. And then number 2 is going to be the student pilot should understand limitations for airspeed tolerances related to flap positions through the use of me asking relevant questions. So basically we would be going over the Standman, I would hope, and I believe it covers just like the call-outs. They should already know the call-outs from many earlier lessons, but kind of dig a little deeper into that lesson, into that idea. So ask limitations. My scenario sort of covers something like this, so my completion standards will be covered by the sort of assessment tool that I'm going to be using. But before I go into my assessment tool, I want to talk about, like, obviously the fact that I would be asking specific questions along the way that guide the student as well. I'm trying to get them into the lesson. I'm not trying to just lecture to them. For some elements of the lesson, all right. Element number 1, we'll go over some aircraft limitations. So basically POH, run through that. Shouldn't be too bad. They should know most of the aircraft limitations, especially considering flaps are used with almost every landing that they've ever done. Maybe 1 or 2 I've asked them not to put flaps in. They should understand the limitations for airspeed. And then we'll talk about some traffic patterns and their operations. All right. And there's not a ton of information out there in the AIM or anything like this, so I was able to talk to a few instructors about the situations that they've been in when trying to figure out basically where a student's going to mess up in their airspeed calculations for what flap setting they're at. It's pretty common, according to a lot of people, going from downwind to base, that turn from I believe it's flaps 10 below 110, or below 110 flaps 10. You go straight from 110 to flaps 20 below 85, or 85 flaps 20. That's kind of a drastic difference in airspeed, so it can kind of catch students by surprise, and they may be at a higher airspeed when they put that second notch of flaps down to 20, and basically once they put that notch down, it's an immediate, hopefully a go around, because it is a uncoordinated approach or unsafe approach, because they'll have to take those flaps out, as well as a safety report and reporting it to maintenance, which I'll also cover. So, also certain maneuvers. Right. When students are going on their solo flights into the traffic pattern, they're going to be doing some maneuvers, hopefully not stalls to full indications, but they will have their flaps in. So letting them know, like, hey, what's one of the first things that we do when we finish up a maneuver? We clean up. All right, so we're going to take those flaps out. We're going to make sure we get up to airspeed, but we're also going to make sure that we're introducing different flap settings at different airspeeds, so that they understand how the airplane feels at those different airspeeds. Number 4 is basically filing like maintenance and a safety report if you're overspeeding. So maintenance / safety report. All right, showing them how to do that shouldn't take too long. And some common errors. And a lot of those common errors are going to be covered within these already. So it shouldn't take too long for common errors as well. I'm just going to say I got all this from other CFIs. All right. Now, aids, I'm going to have the whiteboard, my iPad, which I'm using to film, airplane, if it helps with the assignment. So, over here, I have it right here, and I could use this to do the assessment portion, which is just going to be a scenario. Basically, introducing the student to a situation that I just talked about, where they're from that downwind to a base turn, and they notice that their airspeed is off after they've already put the flaps down. I'm basically going to walk them through like the go-around procedure, which they should know, file a safety report, and logging with maintenance. Most of that they should know. If the student has to basically need a little bit of help, that's perfectly fine as well. But there we go.